Welcome to Health is Wealth. This show is brought to you by the Chicago chapter of the National Black Nurses Association. I am Bernetta Pearson, your host for today, and with me, beside me, is my wonderful guest, and she's going to tell her I'm going to make her work today. She's going to tell us who she is and what she does, and I'll pop in between. And if you have any questions while we're going on, if you're new to the show, most of you already know, you just have to call our number, 312-738-1000, and just ask your questions, and that'll work. And Miss Janice Henry's on the phone, as usual. I'm going to make her trade places with me one day and get over here. In fact, she did, and didn't you love it? Yes, you did. Alrighty, so we're going to get started this evening because time is valuable.
Thank you.
And if you would tell our listeners, because when you look in there at yourself, you are looking straight in their eyes.
Okay.
And we appreciate, I try always to thank the Chicago Cable Access because it's through their auspices that we are able to come and bring news and information to the community. And these days, it's more important than ever that we talk and that we educate in every way that we can.
I get that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, without further ado,
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here today. My name is Addie Anderson. I run a company called Addie Anderson Coaching Services, and I work with women, professional women who are in midlife that want to, at that stage in their life, to try and make some changes. They want to transform their lives. They're ready to do something different. And I help them to make that happen so that they could be and live the life that they want on a daily basis. So that's what I do. And I do that through coaching.
what makes them, what brings them to that point where they want to change their lives, and how did you get involved and interested in this?
Okay.
Tell our listeners.
Well, I say to myself a lot of times that I am my client, because at one point in time I was at this place in my life where I felt like something was missing, like there was a void. Externally, it seemed like you couldn't see it because, for the most part, I was working a job that I was pretty satisfied with. I had a great support system and things like that were okay with me, but still there was something that would come up that I felt like was missing in my life. And so what I did is that I took an assessment of my life. I am also a licensed therapist, and so I'm used to taking assessments. So I took an assessment of my life, and I looked at it in totality. And what I was looking for was to see, was there any particular area that was not very satisfying for me? And so what came up is that I had always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And for many years, I would do things part-time and keep a full-time job, but it had come to a point where I felt like I was ready to take that leap. And it was, wow, shall I say, one of the biggest challenges that I have had to deal with at that point. And so going through that assessment, coming to the realization that I was ready to do it, I still didn't do it at that very moment. It took me a few years still to do that.
Sounds like me, and I'm still not ready to do it. I'm still in transition in that process. But it's exciting because you still find things to do. Everything is new and wonderful, and you just, my mind just goes all over the place with wanting to be everything and do everything.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It can be very challenging, very scary. I can tell you when I did take that leap, I felt like I was alive, for the first time in a long time, because you have all of these emotions that you're processing and feeling and going through all the time, that I felt like, oh wow, it hurts, but it also feels good, if that makes sense. So I kind of figured that if I, at that stage in my life, was feeling like that and having those same kind of voids coming up for me, that other women would probably feel the same way. And so I did a bit
Yes, I do.
I did a bit of research, and what I found out is that around the age of about 45 is when women start to go within themselves and start to question where they are. And if they are dissatisfied, that's a lot of times when they're starting to be ready and motivated to do something about it. And what I've learned that, yeah, we come to those realizations that we want something different, but we don't do it. And there is a reason that we don't do it.
Okay. Well, for me, it was, I think some of us know when we're like, when I was 8 years old, I wanted to be a nurse. And that was because my dad was a veteran, and he was in the hospital forever. And he was on the spinal cord. They all had spinal cord injuries. And I was that little 8-year-old. And I would go between there was a 4-bedroom, and carry water and hold the water for them because they were totally paralyzed from the neck down.
Neck down, okay.
And once I was taking care of them, that's what I wanted to be. And I never really changed that. But I have expanded, the things to include other things that I like to do.
Okay. That's a blessing to know what you want to do so very early.
It is.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
for the ladies that you're reaching out to, sounds like they don't have a one thing that.
No, it may not be one thing that they're focusing on. A lot of times they don't know what it is.
Okay.
And so when they work with me, what we do is gain clarity on what some of those things might be for them. The biggest reason that people, and women particularly, don't step out sometimes is because of fear. They're just afraid of the unknown. And as I was speaking earlier about all the emotions and things that came up for me when I eventually made that leap, that is what people try to avoid, because if you can't sit with that, if you can't deal with that in the moment, then it's really difficult for you to be able to sustain and have longevity. If the desire is for you to, maybe quit your job and start a business.
That's coming up more and more recently, that people are wanting to go in that direction, be entrepreneurs. And we even now have a couple of incubators here in the city of Chicago. That one is very new, and it has all of these people who are male and female, not just female, who are wanting to take that leap of faith.
Oh, okay.
And so, probably with you, what do you do? What have you? We know they're stuck, but your mission is to
help them get
unstuck.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. If you're listening and you are a female or a male who has a relative or someone, couldn't find it, Janice, sorry, who needs some help with that, can they just call? I mean, I know that you have a contact number, but the information that you are presenting right now should be very helpful to them in doing that. And please forgive me for that phone. I couldn't find it in that junky bag. But if you are listening, give us a call if you have questions, if you have a sister, mother, relative, friend, wife, whatever, who's thinking about doing this. How old or how young are we speaking? You said around 40.
Midlife, it generally starts around 40. Generally the women I see are 35 or up.
Okay. What about the young ladies? There are people who, that's another whole specialty, another whole ball game.
Well, I think a lot of the issues are similar, because there are a lot of young women who really are ready to make some changes. And so I think there is a place for them a lot of times to get help with that. So, but it's just not the age that I kind of focus on.
So your ladies are the younger ones. They may, because I noticed that people are reaching out to them, and they're starting their careers earlier and earlier, and watching the Olympics. Let me know that a lot of young women are into the games and the exercise and the other careers that they've chosen for themselves.
Yes.
And they're all talking about it. So I guess now is the time. And so you're listening to us this evening, and if you have any ideas or questions, or just jump in. That's what I like about the show, is that they can and they will call in if they have a question. But sometimes when my guests are very good, you answer, because I look at a lot of talk shows and television, and if I'm thinking about asking a question, and I start to pick up the phone, the guest has
Yes,
already
formed the
discussed it or formed it or said something about it, and I'm like, okay, all right, well, that's good. I didn't want to call anyway and wait on the phone. But on the phone is our dear Janice Henry, and she'll be happy to put you through if you do have a question for our guest. So what are your plans now? Because I know you have some.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would share that with us, and how we should take the first step,
Okay.
and how we need to get in touch with you, because it's really nice when someone like you
Mm-hmm.
does the hard work
Mm-hmm.
of fitting it all together
Mhm.
and saying, okay, I can just follow what you said and I can go from
Yeah.
there. That's wonderful. And so we'll just pick your brain,
Yeah.
and you just tell us what else is what should be the starting point. I guess we need to know
Mhm.
how to reach you.
Mhm.
What is the beginning phase? Where do we fit in
Mhm.
in our?
Well, you can reach me. My email is coachaddieanderson@gmail.com. So feel free to call me or, email me there. But generally, a lot of women find me online.
Okay.
And it's usually when something has happened in their lives,
Mhm.
like I was saying earlier, that they get to that point in life where they're just so dissatisfied. But usually there's something that will happen that will encourage them to take that next step. So let's just say, and it's not always women who want to start businesses.
Okay.
It could also be someone who may not be happy in a relationship that they're in. And they're ready to make some changes, but just have not found, that whatever they need within themselves to do that.
And that's where you come in, because my question would be, well, where do I start? I mean,
Yeah, well,
I'm
you
ready to go. What? I mean, I've been through that once in
Okay.
terms of ending something and didn't know where to start, where to go from there.
Really? Okay. Yeah, well, you come in when I meet with women and
Mhm.
with the people that I see, we have the opportunity to dig deep and go beyond the surface level and find out exactly what it is that's keeping them stuck. 9 times out of 10, it's some kind of limiting belief. And what we know is that those beliefs are not true. They're not truth. It's those things that we have heard over the years, maybe your parents may have said something to you, or your teachers, or anybody who has touched you in your life and had some kind of meaning to you could have left this message within you to make you feel or think that you're not good enough, or these are some of the limiting beliefs that people come with. They're afraid. What if I don't make it? I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough education, or whatever it is. And they start to see those things as if they're true. And
So you're actually counseling them when they come to you. You don't have to, when they come to you, is it that they already know they need a change and you're the person, or do we come to you just to figure out, where do I go from here? I mean, I'm stuck.
Well, I'm not counseling. That's, because there is a difference between doing the therapy and doing the counseling.
Okay.
So what we do is, because the limiting beliefs, we all have them. So it doesn't mean that you have some type of mental illness if you have a limiting belief. And that's the distinction between counseling and therapy.
Okay.
So when people come to therapy, they're usually dealing with some kind of pathological issue. In counseling, it's not that way. So, but you come and, we dig deep into, there are 3 phases to the program that I have.
That's what I was gonna say.
First phase
Take us through it.
I call gain clarity. Let's get clear on your stuff.
Okay.
And the second phase is let's kick fear in the butt. You've gained clarity
I like
on your
that.
stuff, right? So now you know why you're stuck. Now we're going to kick fear in the bud. So you have fear, but you're now ready and able and more capable of moving out on some of the things that we've already talked about.
Okay.
And then from there, we're setting goals, and we're, keeping you accountable as you go through this process, and you're gaining momentum, you're having successes, and you are just feeling like, oh wow, I have had this breakthrough in my life. I feel good now that I have taken this step to make some changes. And it's just like snowballs from there, because now you're gaining that confidence that you need to move forward.
So as we go along, you are guiding us.
Absolutely.
I mean, is there, what time span are we looking at to go through the whole thing, or is it a long time, or is it now and then that we touch base,
That's a good
or how does that go?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I have a program that's 90 days. And so we have 90 days of constant contact with each other. Initially, it's very frequent, one-on-one sessions, either Skype or in person. You could be anywhere and do this. And as the time go on, depending on what your needs are, our one-on-ones will be less frequent because now you don't need them. But as a coach, I'm there to kind of keep you accountable. I'm there to kind of hold your hand, guide you, be with you as you're making these decisions about some of the changes that you want to make in your life. And it's almost magical as I see it, because I do coach, but I also have a coach. And so
okay.
I know the value of having this coach in my life to kind of help me to jump some of these hurdles that I have.
I think that's fantastic. As the word spreads, you'll probably be more busy than you think, because the world is just moving so fast, and trying to keep up with it and stay in one lane when there's so many things to do and people to see. You're listening to and looking at the Chicago chapter of the National Black Nurses Association. I'm Bernetta Pearson. I'm your host this evening. And on the phones is Miss Janice Henry, and my guest to the right, which I want to call to my right, call her Coach, is giving us some useful information. And I think at this point, because time flies when you're having fun up in here,
it does.
We need contact information so that we can take it beyond tonight. This is just the beginning. Get in touch with you and go from there.
Okay. You can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Addie Anderson Coaching. You can follow me on Twitter at Coach Addie A. That's at Coach Addie A. And my email address is coachaddieanderson@gmail.com.
Okay, you have to repeat it again, because you know how slow we write.
My email address is coachaddieanderson@gmail.com. And if you email me, let me know that you saw me on this program, or even if you see me on YouTube, that you saw me here. I have 5 tips that I will send you to help you get unstuck. 5 tips to get unstuck and move forward in life. I will send you that report if you would just send me your email. You can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Addie Anderson Coaching, and also on Twitter at Coach Addie A.
Well, I'm right here, and I get a chance to get those tips before she leaves this evening. So let me do some housekeeping real quick, and you need to get your pen and paper out. I'm going to first put a flyer on the screen for you to see in terms of what's going on in the city. Join Congressman Danny K. Davis. And who are these? The 6th Annual Back to School Fitness Fun Peace Fest. That would be Saturday. That would be, I'm lost on the days. This coming Saturday.
That's
Time
the
is
27th,
flying.
yeah.
Okay, at Columbus Park, 12:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And the activities include, in case you can't see them, I don't know if you can or not, but anyhow, the sponsor of this is Loretta Hospital. And everybody's doing everything. This is the time. Summer's winding down. And Coach Addie Anderson is ready for you to do a new beginning. The holidays are coming, and everything is just, you know what? Everything is just happening constantly,
Yeah.
especially in this city. And everything is so wonderful. I don't think I could go live on a farm in the suburbs or something like that. I really don't think that I would survive. But it's just wonderful. So, Fitness, Fun, Peace Fest. Make sure that you come Saturday, August 27th, 2016, Columbus Park. And the activities, is there a contact number other than Loretto Hospital? Well, I told you, I think I know how to get to Columbus Park. If not, give Loretto Hospital a call and ask them for any other information that you need. The other thing that I want to tell you real quick, because time flies here, as you can see,
Yeah, I have a couple of
is that this show is sponsored by the Chicago chapter of the National Black Nurses Association. And we have a P.O. box for you. That would be P.O. Box 4612, Chicago, Illinois 60680. The phone number to call us is 773-792-7222. And you can reach us at that number. And the reason why we're giving this information is, I guess you could say, Addie, that this is another step in what Janice and I love to do for the chapter. We don't have a lot of people knocking us over saying, "Hey, it's our turn. We're gonna come." We wind up most of the time being the ones who are doing the shows.
Okay.
But it's something that we've discovered that we love, and it's about, I guess, for nurses and for people like you to give back, to spread the information.
Yeah.
I heard the gentleman telling you that when I walked up this evening. It's all about passing knowledge, and we've got Facebook, we have Twitter, we have, what else is it? Everything you can think of, but still talking.
Absolutely.
It should be number one,
Yeah.
and is number one. This interaction that we're doing with the auspices, it's late,
And speaking
of
of
Chicago
talking,
Cable Access.
could I share like two events
Go
coming
right
up?
ahead. Yes,
Okay,
please.
speaking of talking, as she mentioned that, on September the 24th, I am having a workshop. The title of the workshop is Limitless You, Overcome Barriers That Are Holding You Back. Send me your email address. I'll make sure you get that information. Also, October the 8th through the 10th, that's the weekend, the entire weekend, I will be speaking at McCormick Place. The title of the conference is the Great Chicago Ignite the Fire Conference 2016, and that is October the 8th through the 10th.
What conference is that? The conference is what? What's the name of the?
It's the Great Chicago Ignite the Fire Conference.
Okay.
And there will be
Who's putting
tons
that on?
of speakers around. There's a local lady by the name of Sylvia. God put it on her heart to do this conference, and she is just convening just some powerful speakers to come in for the weekend. And so, if it so moves you to be there, make sure you check it out.
Well, all right, you heard that, and I did tell you at the beginning of the show, and those who watch us all the time know that time flies when you're having fun. It flies when you're giving, and you're giving of ourselves. We are and you are information and news that people can use out here. That's what we love to do. That's why Chicago Cable Access exists, and we're forever grateful that we are allowed to do this as community groups. It's wonderful. So as we go off the air, because we're in a new station now, and I'm trying to be good and wrap up and do all those things, and Janice is guiding me. Do not forget, we're here the fourth Tuesday of every month, and we're bringing you information. If you have some ideas or some things or some topics that you want us to discuss or bring forward, or talk about some things about health like the Zika virus and other things, give us a call, 773-792-7222, or call Chicago Cable Access 312-738-1000. Thank you very much. And my guest is going to go off with one more time.
708-870-6255. Email address is coachaddieanderson@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you.
That is wonderful. That's a great way to go off, and we look forward to that. And Addie, keep us informed.
I will.
And call us up and let us know something new that we need for people to know. And we thank you. We can't thank you enough
Thank
for
you.
being on this
It
program.
was such a pleasure.
Yes, and thank you very much for listening and getting that information. All we ask for you to do, and I'm going off the air with pass it on, and we'll see you at the Fitness Fun Peace Fest on Saturday at Columbus Park. Thank you very much for tuning in.